Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Zeta. It is time for an update, and on this chart I have simplified things a lot since the previous video. We really only have one interpretation we are tracking for continuation to higher prices, and it is within the idea of a leading diagonal where we would have a wave 1 top in place. This would have been formed by an ABC pattern, and we would be looking for this to have either been a wave 2 correction already complete or an extension, which is what we are tracking in the yellow interpretation instead. Now, what I also removed is the smaller time frame structure we had here. We had a tiny trade setup in this correction. We have succeeded to extend directly higher, but that's not really what interests me at this point because it's been a while and we have managed to actually create within this push to higher prices a potential initial 5-wave pattern that would actually allow us to look for even a 1-2 setup within this area. Now, since this isn't the most clearly defined, the nicest 1-2 setup, it does decrease the likelihood of this interpretation working out. It is able to be interpreted as a different type of corrective pattern. We have some options, but I'm actually considering this to be a decent opportunity if you are generally interested in Zeta. If you have some appropriate risk management, looking for a position within its area of support might not be necessarily a bad idea. And this is why I am looking for this to actually be something I can provide to you that can actually be used, that can be actionable. And for this interpretation, we will of course track this in white. We will have the defined area of support between 38.2% retracement at $18 down to $12.8, and as long as we hold here the 78.6% retracement, we can still look with decently high likelihood for a wave 3 to form in the next wave to the upside. Now, before we move into the smaller time frame, a word of caution here. I say we are looking for a wave 3. That would be ideal, to create here an impulse and push to the ideal target, but I want to remind you that we are looking for a larger wave 3 to the upside of a leading diagonal. Doesn't need to be like that. It could indeed form simply a wave C. It could be an impulse within a wave C, which would be expected to form a 5-wave structure. But at the same time, it is within the realm of possibilities to form instead an ABC pattern here, have this as a larger wave A, have a wave B correction, and a wave C to the upside. Don't take for granted the idea that we would reach the ideal target within the next wave to the upside, within what I am calling a wave 3, because it is ideal to build this pattern. It would allow us to track a much more reliable structure overall, but it is not necessary. The minimum expectation after an initial 5-wave move to the upside would be to have, after a 3-wave correction, another 5-wave move to the upside, and that could be just as fine a wave C and not a wave 3. Now, in the assumption where a wave 2 bottom would already be in place, I can already provide an ideal target for such an extension, and that would be the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. That is the $46.8 level at this point. However, in the eventuality where this would be forming instead a wave C, we would be looking at the 100% extension instead, the $33.9 level, and even that is an ideal target, more of a suggestion for the wave C, and of course a level it is drawn towards, but not something that must be achieved. Now, I want to highlight that it could be completely within the realm of possibilities to have this extension be part of a wave B, part of this yellow structure, form here a reset of the wave B top within the area of resistance, possibly extending only into the 78.6% extension, the $28.3 level instead, or around that region anyway. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed these updates, I would greatly appreciate if you leave a like And if you want to keep up to date with everything that we provide, and we actually post multiple videos every single day, I would also recommend that you subscribe. And if you want to support us directly in providing you all of this data, all of this content, you can check out our channel membership. And as a thank you for any of these actions, really all of them are appreciated, I would even invite you to join our channel newsletter, where you get access to our monthly top picks, where we identify for you such high quality structures. The link for sign up is in the description, and it is completely free. Now, in this structure, in this movement to the downside, I'm looking already at the potential bottom within this wave 2, as I would only be required to identify a 3-wave pattern, and this is already in place. I could even assume this to be an impulse within the wave C, and we have even pushed beyond what we would typically expect of a wave 4 correction, in the idea of building an actual 5-wave pattern in this area. We have actually gotten nearly into the wave 1 territory. Now, not completely, we didn't invalidate it in those terms, but we did push here beyond the 50% retracement with quite a sustained break, yeah? And not only that, I could easily see extensions for this as a larger A, B, C structure, but I'm looking at what could be identified even within a smaller time frame as an initial 5-wave move to the upside, yeah? So within this structure, I'm looking at yet another potential leading diagonal, where this would be a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, a wave 3 up, a wave 4 down, and a wave 5 to the upside. That would allow us to look for yet another potential 1-2 setup within this area. And to be clear, this is probably even worse of a structure, actually definitely even worse of a structure, than what we have in terms of a 5-wave pattern within the slightly larger time frame, yeah, the larger degree. But it is what we currently have available, and we cannot really change how this unfolded, yeah, this is the structure we have in place, but we can use the area of support such an interpretation can provide. And to be clear, it is decently often the case that the beginning is more rocky, and that we do not get the more clear structures before the stronger wave 3 to the upside begins. But if this truly is an additional 1-2 setup, and we form here our wave 2 correction, this would be the next level of confirmation, yeah? We had our initial 5-wave move to the upside, level 1, we had our 3-wave correction, basically, level 2, then we get an additional initial 5-wave move to the upside, being yet another level of confirmation. Now, the thing is, positioning and risk management is key here, because even if we do not manage to hold the internal wave 2 area of support, we would still be within the larger wave 2 area of support. But primarily I would be watching here a similar area with what we have on the larger time frame scaled down. So I'm watching the levels between $17.4 down to $15.4 at the 78.6% retracement. And for context, with the break of $15.4, we are looking with decently high likelihood to get a reset of the larger wave 2, whereas with the break below the larger 78.6% retracement here, the $12.8, well, we would have to actually assume that a more substantial top would be in place within this wave B in yellow, and that we would be looking for a rather complete reset of the wave 2 here in white at the very least. Now, the ideal target for the wave C in yellow sits here at the 100% extension of the wave A, that is the $7 level. And before we end the video, I also wanted to show you a potential idea for the smaller time frame that could still allow either a reset of this wave 2 in white, or really a similar pattern with what we are tracking on the larger time frame, on the larger degree in the yellow structure. And here I would be watching the levels of resistance, still quite generic, but I would be watching up to $22.2 for resistance to have an internal yellow A, B, C structure, right? We would have basically the same patterns unfold within a larger and a smaller time frame. Both white and yellow structures have the same areas of resistance, the same patterns we are tracking within these two different time frames. And for now, there really is much else to add. Even within this wave B in yellow, I would probably prefer a reset. Now, we can notice we have so far pushed into the 50% retracement, and yeah, even if we were to fail following through within the larger push to the upside, I would still prefer to form at least something like this within this area, yeah, a 3-wave pattern, yeah, to complete this at least as a slightly larger degree wave B. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy our content and want to support us directly, check out our channel membership. And other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.